Yo, yo. Let's pull this mic closer. Yo, yo. So, Watchlist, or lack thereof. Um, Started off by saying I don't have a whole lot to talk about. So if nobody hops on with much to converse about in the comments, I will be on for a couple minutes, and that's about it. Um, Master, insane move. Retook the entire gap up and fade day and engulfed that all today. I was looking for pops with prior resistance and joining that for a fade. Started in, covered into VWAP, rescaled, covered the flush first lows, and then didn't stay heavy. So I avoided a little bit of chop there, but stuff like MSTZ, just $10 a share, is insane. So yeah, like you can see the massive save and then completely engulfs it the following day. So I don't have a great read on these at this point. Like this is just, it's a lot of range. If you're on the right side, it pays, but typically you get that gap up and fail and you get enough bag holders to sell into the next pop, and that's just not happening. So clearly don't have a great read there. Reddit took a loss on this one today. It broke under those 155s that I was looking for, and this one did the exact same thing the rest of the day. So I had stopped partial, rescaled once it failed back under VWAP, added with full risk over here on highs, and just let it work with a stop. Looked okay, topping versus VWAP, and came back up and stopped me out there. So this one reclaimed that 155 and was on its way. So definitely not staying heavy like I would have expected when everything is getting hit sell side, and you get that massive retake into close. So unfortunate there. Palantir, same kind of thing. Big reversal across the board on a bunch of these names. Turner, inside day, so not a whole lot of range to take advantage of there. Stim, I noticed this breakout chart. Big multi-day, multi-week move, consolidating and flagging up in the upper end, and then breaks through $5. So far it is gapping up in after hours. It closed down here in the fives. So if it doesn't open up there in the 530s, I like dips versus these 490s. Prior resistance became support. And if 15 minute, these lower highs broke, topped there this morning, and then re-broke out into the afternoon. Looks like pretty constructive action. So I like weak opens there if it wants to continue higher. And then ARB, this one got a $45 million deal. Put out some news in after hours and sent this thing on a ride. And market cap on this is like 10, 20 million. Let me pull it up. Shares outstanding 26 million. So at $1, it's a $26 million market cap. And the news reading that it's getting $45 million deal. So I think people are reading that bullish. Technical wise, history of one and dones, bunch of bag holders overhead, and it's already up over 100% after hours. So I don't think we're in the market, COVID market. Something puts out a $40 million deal on a 20 mil market cap. You could buy that thing until it hits 40 mil and maybe a little bit higher. But I don't think we're in that market right now with small caps. Nothing has really caught shorts off guard. This could be the one to change that, but until something does change it, I'm going to assume business as usual. So 100% plus gap. I think possible gap up short into resistance. And we had that one today. What was... It faded all the way red. It round tripped. Rigid. RDGT. Insane move. Big gap up and round tripped even lower than red to green. Choppy off the open, but 1030 hits and fades off into oblivion. So could be getting something like that where you get straight up move, pops into after hours and pre-market levels, and then look for a fader. It does like to run. You can see the wicks, so it does like to get going. You can see here, wicks. So it's not something that I think you can short the open and risk high a day, but I think if you can get some sort of shove off the open, maybe a blowout of pre-market highs, something like that, react to it, and then set a wide stop and let it do its thing. Been sitting on my hands lately, no runners, 9 trades this year, so bored, and so close to trading gap and craps. Always seems risky. Yeah, I'm in the same kind of boat. I know I've taken more than 9 trades this year, but it's definitely hasn't been active. Coming off of December, that was a really good month for me. January was okay, and February, I might have even been red in February, to be honest. I didn't trade that well. If I made anything, I don't know what the totals were. If I made anything, it would have been negligible. But it definitely didn't feel like I had traded very well. Could have taken the month off and it wouldn't have really done much. And then March, it's been a couple days, 2 days, but I haven't really done a whole lot in March either. It's just, there's not a whole lot of like A+ where I'm coming in prepared, like ready to go. So it's just tough for me to put money at risk when I don't feel that way. So I don't hate the sitting on hands. I'm kind of getting into that boat as well. And then as far as the gapping craps go, I've traded a few of them over the years, but nothing that I've really dove deep into. It seems like you just have to survive the open. And once midday comes, they typically fizzle out. And if they're not fizzling out by midday, then that's when you need to move on. And with me not being around past midday, it's hard for me to just set a stop and leave, because I feel like I could avoid some losses by the ones that aren't breaking down 11 a.m. plus, that I'd probably just cover and move on. They should be making new lows by then. So I think like the guys that are systematized, they'll risk... Some people risk 25%, some people risk 40%, some people risk 60%. I think you can pick whatever process works. I know people in each of those baskets that are very profitable. One guy I had met risked 25%, but is willing to try the trade 3 times. So we'll take 25% losses 3 times. But only has a 1-to-1 win percent, but 1-to-1 risk reward, but has a 70% win rate. So as long as if you're making 1-to-1 and winning more than 50% of the time, then it's a profitable setup. So that could be a way to go. Someone like Kyle, I believe, risks about 40%. Shorting a low a day breakdown, opening range breakdown, and risks 40%. Huddy, I think, is risking somewhere between 40 and 60%. So yeah, there's people that do a little bit of all of it. But over like the last year, I think it's been one of the most consistent small cap setups that hasn't been very cyclical. It's worked for the most part for the last year. And gap and craps have worked for years. It's a time-tested setup. A lot of people do it. But as far as consistency goes, I don't think there's been a whole lot of drawdown periods longer than a few days or a week or so. It's been fairly consistent. So, yeah, I think like the way that I've started getting into them a little bit recently is not just shorting all gappers, shorting something with a ton of dilution, or shorting something with overhead daily resistance, or something on the daily chart, because like when I'm trading my other setups, I like a daily chart first. So yes, it's a gap up short, but look for something on the daily to give me some more edge. Gap and crap seem to be one of Clover's main patterns. You're going to start fall there. Good morning, NASDAQs. Yeah. Yeah, and just like if you're not trading a whole bunch, then your A pluses aren't around, so there's not those trades where you can be making back losses. So I think it's worth it to try it, and as long as you're tracking it to get some data extracted from it. But just trade super small. If you risk $1,000, risk $100. If you risk $100, risk $10. And just trade it small while you don't know what you're doing. That's what I do when I try new stuff. Just size way down and tinker, get data. It's not about the money. It's about figuring out, getting in where you fit in. Kyle seems to have a good success with them lately. Yeah, he's shorting opening range breakdowns and risking an arbitrary 40%. And then he'll cover at close. So there's some nuance to his trade selection. It's not just shorting all gappers, but all about the process. That's right. Alrighty, well, at least we got some value. Decent little chat, but I'll probably be watching Stem and Arb tomorrow. And that's about it. I don't have a whole lot on watch. And the more days that I don't take a trade, I think I'll probably be better off in this current environment. It's just not typically where I thrive, so I'm gonna... I showed up today without really much to talk about, but some people just like to hear that, so I don't know. I plan on being here each evening, but I don't guarantee I have a ton of watches, so alrighty, take it easy guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.